What's up, YouTubeverse? This is Donnie, and welcome to another edition of Donnie's Den. It's pretty hot here in South Carolina today. Actually, pretty much all this week. It's going to hit the 100-degree mark, and with the heat and the humidity, the heat index is going to feel like 108, 109. They're saying. So, yeah, it's pretty hot this week. And if you notice that I'm sporting a little bit of a different look. Today, I decided to go ahead and get myself a buzz cut, because it's been so hot out. And, actually I get a buzz cut at least once a year, around this time of year, keeps things a little bit cooler, but, each year I get a buzz cut, the more that I like it, and I think I might start getting them a little bit more often. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about buzz cuts, I'm here to talk about a little bit more of a serious matter, a matter that actually came across my way this week. And that's, how things in your past come back to you and, to haunt you. I have a past. We all have a past. Some not so bad. Others, they may be having a worse past than others, but just the same, we still all have one. And my past, I've made so many mistakes in my past. So many bad decisions and poor choices on my part that it affected not only me but the lives of other people as well. And that's a hard pill to swallow. And I've done a lot of things in my past that I'm embarrassed of and I'm not proud of. But it took a lot of time, a lot of thinking, and a lot of self-therapy actually, to learn from the mistakes. And I made a video in the past talking about that. We need to learn from our mistakes. We to be better, not bitter from our mistakes. Learn from them. That's how we learn. Is how we grow. And that's very much true in this situation with mistakes that you make in the past, as well. Again, I had forgiven myself for the my past mistakes, and I thought that I asked good Lord above for forgiveness, and I just went on with my life, as one should. But then a situation came up that here recently, concerning my past, and and it really affected me, deeply. It really kind of shook me up, and I thought, well, wow, I forgiven myself, so why is this situation really bothering me? And I really thought about it, and I thought about it. If anybody knows me, they know that I tend to be an overthinker. And, I just came to the conclusion that the thing that I was doing was I forgave myself for my past mistakes. But, you can't forgive yourself just once for your past mistakes and just expect them just to vanish and disappear, or just fold them up, put them away in a box somewhere, hide them in a dark corner, and, forget about them. I think what we have to do, and what I've learned, from it, is that, we have to forgive ourselves every day. It's a daily battle. As soon as we get up in the morning and we face ourselves in the mirror, we got to forgive ourselves. It ain't something that you can just say, well, I forgive myself and I hope others do, and that's it, and go on with it. Actually, it's not that easy as I thought that it was. We have to we've had to put in the work, and I have put in the work in the past to make myself a better version of myself today, but with that situation that had bothered me from my past, that popped up here recently, I thought, well, you know what, you know, we, we, we have to forgive ourselves really every day, you know, um, we have to, again, learn from our mistakes, not repeat the situations of the past, and we have to apologize to that person that we wronged. You know, um, they're entitled to the way they feel. They have a lot of you know hurtful feelings about situations, and you're responsible, for instilling those feelings into them. So you have to hear what they have to say. You have to respect and understand what they're saying. And yeah, sure, a lot of it is really, bitter, and you can feel the hurt in the words, you know, um, as you're reading or they're telling it to you, that they're really, they're hurt by this, and but you know what? You can't be upset with them. It's how they feel, and you have to respect that. And again, you're the reason why that they feel that way. You know, the only thing that you can do is, again, just forgive yourself on a daily basis. Each day, just be a better version of yourself, because you owe that to the world. You owe it to the person that you wronged. You owe it to yourself personally, to be the best version that you can be. And again, that's a daily battle as well. As you're forgiving yourself each day, you got to decide, that you're going to be the best version of yourself that you can be, not only for yourself, but for others as well. You know, um, you have to forgive yourself. And of course, you have to ask for forgiveness from that other person as well. Now, whether they forgive you or not, I mean, that's their choice. You ask for forgiveness. You put it out there, and that's basically all you can do. Now, whether they accept, your apology, and forgive you or not, that's totally up to them. And if they don't, well, you can't really blame them for that, not whatsoever. But I think though that really that when you ask someone, tell someone that you're sorry and ask them for, their forgiveness, I think that they should forgive you, and not for your sake, not for your sake, but for those, for their sakes, for the ones, those that you have wronged, so that they're able to mend and heal, from the hurt, and be able to go on, and we have to forgive ourselves, so that we're able to mend and go on, in our future. So when the ghosts of the past come up out of nowhere to haunt you, just forgive yourself every day, for the things that you've done, knowing that you've learned from your mistakes. You're not that person no more. You're a better version of yourself, and you have to prove that every day, every single day. It's necessary for your general well-being. You know, um, mistakes happen. You know, shit happens, and no matter how minimal, or no matter how, to the max that it is. You know, um, as long as you learn from it, you change from it, you grow from it, you know better, you become a better person for it. You ask yourself for forgiveness every day. Ask that person that you've wronged for forgiveness. And all you can do is just, go on. It's a daily battle, and it's a daily step. But as long as you're taking that daily step, going forward and not backwards to the past, because I don't live in the past anymore. You know, and you got to forgive yourself for things in the past in order to live in the present and be able to shape and look forward and go forward, you know, into your future. So, with that being said, I hope that you learn from this content. I'm learning every day. We all learn every day. And, you know, again, if you learn from this content, then please, I encourage you highly to please hit the like and the subscribe button. My goal is to try to get 1,000 subscribers, and you know, hopefully all of us together, you know, we can make that happen. You know, I realize it's a relatively new channel that I'm starting, and but you know, we can make it happen. You know, we can do this. So you know, and again, if you you know enjoy this platform, then I ask that you please you know, help support it. You know, buy me a beer, a cigar, or a cup of coffee, or whatnot, and it would be really, really appreciated. And I will leave the Cash App and the Venmo app information in the comments below. So thanks, guys, for listening. Stay cool, um, you know, and just work on yourselves daily. You know, it's work that is necessary. You know, for us and for others around us. Okay. So with that being said, again, have a great weekend. This is Donnie. Always keep it 100. Always keep it real. Peace.